Peace. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator, who is one God. There is none to the left, there's none to the right, and there's none that sits on the right hand of authority. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Blessings to all the children who serve one God, the supreme, self-existing, perpetual, always in motion, eternal Creator, the Spirit of truth. When you pray, it must be to the Spirit of truth. It must be to the Spirit of truth. You must ask the Spirit of truth to be upon you. In order for the soul to return or get out of this realm here, you must turn it over to the one God and ask Him for His Spirit of truth to be on you, because the soul without the Spirit cannot return home to the Creator. I want to welcome everybody that's subscribed to my channel over the last couple of weeks. Thank you. Blessings to you, your family. I hope you find the content here worthy of sharing with your family, because this is the real deal. There's no turning away from this information once you've heard it. Once you know the truth, you can't turn away from it. Once you know the truth, it's what you got to bring into your house. Once you know the truth, it's what you got to share with every person that you ever meet. It's a battle from there on out. And the Creator's going to put it on you to be out there, trying to save souls. Okay? In James 5:20 it says, a sinner who saves a brother who saves a man from his error saves that man's soul from death. Okay? What it's saying is a man who turns a sinner from his sins saves that man's soul from death. So if I can turn you from pagan worship, from the worship of other gods or placing gods beside God, and turn you back to the rightful worship of one God, that is my purpose. Okay? And I prove to you with scriptures, without a doubt, that this is a system, a 666 system that we live in. And this is the real stuff that needs to be taught to our children, is reading the metaphors of the Bible. So let's begin here. Again, welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you. We're at Exodus 39, one more tomorrow, and we'll be through Exodus, 2 books, and right into Leviticus. Okay. From the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, they made finely woven garments for ministering in the holy place. Okay, I'm going to stop right here real quick. Now, purple, scarlet yarn, and blue. Again, I just said this yesterday, but I'm going to keep driving it in. You got to understand that we are in there's 2 races of people. There are a Gentile race that was created, and then there is another race that was created, the Israelite race, or the or Hebrews. So you have 2 different, as the Bible tells us, the Bible is telling us that there's 2 different creations. One race of people was created on the 6th day of creation, and God saw that it was good. But this race that was created on the 6th day of creation, what you got to understand, is what you'd call Elohims, gods. You see, those like in Hollywood, in politics, and that rule and are in power and stuff, they consider themselves gods. They're telling you that they're gods. They call them rock gods or Hollywood stars. They consider, it's metaphors, folks. They literally consider themselves gods. They've made themselves idols for worship. So understanding that you have 2 races of people is absolutely, it's needed for you to understand this, to be able to move forward in this truth. That there's a Gentile race that was created on the 6th day, and then another race of people that was created later in Genesis chapter 2. This race here is the one that wrote the original Bibles, okay? or the Bible, or the one Bible, and the one Bible had books that were taken out of it, and the Bible says that you're not to either take, add to, or subtract from the word. And you can plainly see by the way that this Bible is written that there's pieces that are missing. I think that Revelations myself would probably be one of the first books that was written, because you had to have the war in heaven before this reality, this world, this construct that we live in was created. The spiritual world was created before the material world was manifested into the electrification of centropy. So the blue race represents Gentiles, the scarlet yarn race represents Hebrews, and the purple represents the breed. Because when the Gentile and the Hebrews started breeding with one another, they created a new race. It was a hybrid race. It was a Nephilim race and stuff. It was, they're vampires. And this is why it says in, what is it? John 6:56. John 6:56, Jesus says, "For my flesh is good food." Actually, that's 55. "And my blood is good drink." And then 56 is, "Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me and I in him." So Jesus wants you to eat his flesh and drink his blood. And that's what the blue race represents here. They represent vampires. They're flesh eaters, folks. Okay, that's what the blue race is. They're flesh eaters. Okay? So always keep that in mind, that these things are metaphors, okay? Finely woven garments for ministering in the holy place. They made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Now, I know this bothers a lot of the Hebrew Israelites when I talk about this, because Aaron, from the Israelites, you, the Israelites yourselves, are asking Aaron, after you've been marched out of Egypt and saved from tyranny, from bondage, from slavery, you've been marched out of Egypt, you've been taken out into the desert, and then all of a sudden, Aaron, who's one of the highest priests, that's being given all these honors, is having all these breast pieces created for him, having these beautiful gowns that are being made for him, and his sons and everything. But yet, Aaron created a bull calf for you, the Israelite people. Okay? You're the Israelite people that told Aaron to build you know what? You guys probably got cursed right from there, man. This is why God's telling you that you're a stiff-necked people. Okay? For Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses, he made an ephod of gold, blue and purple and scarlet yarns of finely twisted linen. And they hammered out gold leaves, and he cut it into the thread of the blue and purple and the scarlet yarn, and into fine twined linen in skilled design. Okay, now the question to ask yourself here is, those that are in the providence of Israel today, think about this. They're called Jewish. They call themselves Jews. They're Jewish. In fact, they don't like to be called Jews, right? To them, that's kind of slang. Why doesn't a nation of those people in that providence of Jerusalem like to be called Jews? Well, because they're not Jews. They're not the real chosen children of God. Okay, we live on a plane of existence of being hijacked from identity theft. You got to understand that duality must exist in this plane of existence in order for us to be taught. This plane of existence is for our souls to be taught. Okay? They made for the ephod attaching shoulder pieces joined to it at its edge, and the skillfully woven band on it was one piece with it and made like it, of gold, blue, and purple and scarlet yarns, and fine twisted linen, or twined linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made the ox stones enclosed in settings of gold, filigree, and engravings. Okay, we got the word here, engravings. Gravings. And the Creator says what? No graven images. Okay? Questionable. And engravings like the engravings of a signet, according to the names of the sons of Israel. Here is not the people of Israel, but Israel himself, Israel's bloodline. And he set them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod, to the stones of the remembrance for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He made the breastpiece in skill work in the style of the ephod, of gold, blue, and purple scarlet yarn, and fine twined linen. By the way, reading this here right now runs you right back. If you were to read this chapter here right now and then turn around and go and read chapter 28, you'd swear that you're just reading the same thing all over again. It's kind of almost like the same way that the New Testament Bible's been written. Why has the New Testament Bible been written by 4 different prophets on the accounts of one man, Jesus Christ and stuff? Because it's repetition. Trying to drive it in your head. Repetition over and over and over. Hear the story over and over and over and over. Hear the same parables over and over. They're trying to teach you to look away from the law. They're trying to tell you that the Gentile are not under the law. We're all going to be judged underneath of the law, folks. The law has been brought to this plane of existence. We're all going to be judged by it. Okay? And I think it's Romans 2:12 that tells us when the Gentiles sin, they will be destroyed even though they never had God's written law. Because when we fell from heaven, we were the lawless ones. The law we already knew on our tablets. From before we fell, we knew we were going against God, but when we fell into this plane of existence, you get a memory wipe. Everything that you know about God is stripped from you. You forget who He is. If you're a child that's born on crack cocaine, you're going to have a real difficult time. This is why. If you're a child that's born on crystal methamphetamine, if you're a child that's born on heroin and stuff, you are born with demons. The semen that was spilled inside your mother's vagina is more than likely demon semen, which means more than likely you are the seed of Satan. It's you. I know that by my behavior in reading this Bible and having the scales removed from my eyes today, that I was of Satan. I was living my life like a demon. I was fornicating. I was lying. I was cheating. I was committing adultery. I was drinking and partying and doing drugs. I was out at the bars. I was getting DUIs. I was doing everything that was walking contrary. And how did I get paid for that? With poor relationships, being thrown in jail, losing cars, losing homes, everything like that. This is how the Creator punishes you. It just took me longer to figure this out. He took everything from me, folks. He took my home, both of my cars. He took my job, my business from me, my kids, my family, everything. And it's almost like Job. He just wiped everything out. Okay, it was square. They made the breastpiece double, a span its length and a span its breadth when doubled. And they set it in 4 rows of stones. A row of sardis, I think I looked that up. I think it's like I can't even remember what it was. A ruby. So the sardis, I believe, is like a ruby, a topaz, and a carbuncle. And this I wanted to ask. I know that this is something that's been made inside of the church. I looked it up and everything. But what's the Hebrew breakdown for this word carbuncle? Because carbuncle in English means a festering blister that's underneath of the skin. blistering something under the skin. Is that just a coincidence? Also, the breastplate that they're talking about, the ephod, okay? Okay, this is pretty much what it looks like. Something like that. And then you have all your stones in there. Alright. And this is what he's wearing over his chest. He's wearing this beautiful engraved piece. It's all gold. It's got all these different stones and everything on it. And to me, I mean, I don't know this for certain or anything, but I think that this could have been, these stones and everything could have been an ancient computer. Do I know that? No, I don't. But something just rings in my head that these stones here, whatever they're doing, whatever they're practicing, had power in them stones. The same way that there's power inside. I believe that the Egyptians and everybody, they had electricity already. Yeah. This is just history repeating itself over and over. So was the breath doubled, and they set in the 4 rows of stones, a row in the sardius, topaz, and carbuncle was the first row, and the second row an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row a jacinth, a agate, and an amethyst, and the fourth row a beryl, an onyx, and jasper. They were enclosed in the setting of filigree. There were 12 stones with their names according to the names of the son of Israel. They were like signets, each engraved with its name for the 12 tribes. And they made on the breastplate twisted chains like cord and pure gold. And they made 2 settings of gold filigree and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 gold rings on the 2 edges of the breastplate. And they put the 2 cords of the gold in the 2 rings at the end of the breastplate. They attached the 2 ends of the 2 cords to this is what they're building here right now. Remember, you could go back to 28 and it's almost saying it double. It's almost reading through it twice again. And attach the ends to the 2 cords to the 2 settings of the filigree. Thus they attached it in front to the shoulder pieces of the ephod. Then they made the 2 rings of gold and put them at the 2 ends of the breastpiece on the inside edge next to the ephod. And they made 2 rings of gold and attached them to the front, to the lower part of the 2 shoulders. Again, this is what they're talking about. The shoulders. Pieces to the ephod at the seam above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastpiece to the ephod at the seam above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastpiece to the ephod at its seam above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastpiece by its rings. Wow, I'm really lost here. On the breastplate piece by its wings. And they bound the breastpiece to the ephod and its seams above 2 skillfully woven bands of the ephod. And they bound the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, so that it should lie on the skillfully woven band of the ephod, and that the breastpiece shall not come loose from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Boy, that word ephod is in that chapter a gang load of times, huh? I guess if something's mentioned that many times, you should probably know what it is. 22, he also made the robe of ephod woven all of blue, and the opening of the robe in it was like the opening in the garment, with the binding around the opening, so that it might not tear. On the hem of the robe On the hem of the robe he made pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and twined linen. They also made bells of pure gold and put the bells between the pomegranate all around the hems of the robe between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate around the hem of the robe for the ministering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They also made the coats woven of fine linen for Aaron and his sons, and the turban of fine linen, and the caps of fine linen, and the linen under the garments of fine twined linen, and the sash of the fine twined linen, and of blue and purple scarlet yarns, embroidered with needlework, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of the signet, holy to the Lord. And they tied to it a cord of blue to fashion it on the turban above, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus all the work to the tabernacle of the tent of meeting had been finished, and the people of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses. So they did. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its utensils, its hooks, its frames, its bars, its pillars, and its bases, the covering of the tanned ram skins and goat skins, and the veil of the screen, the ark of the testimony with its poles and the mercy seat, the tabernacle and all the utensils and the bread of presence, the lampstand of pure gold and its lamps with the lamp set and all its utensils and the oil for the lamps, the golden altar, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, and the screen from the entrance of the tent, the bronze altar and its gratings of bronze, its poles and all its utensils, the basin and its stand, the hangings of the court, its cords and its pegs, and all its utensils for the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of meeting, the finely worked garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his son for their service as priests, according to all the Lord had commanded Moses, so that the people of Israel had done all the work. And Moses saw all the work, and behold, they had done it, as the Lord had commanded, so had they done it. Then Moses blessed them. All right, folks, I know I ran through that second piece pretty quick. Let's roll on out of here. Y'all have a blessed day. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High. May He put His spirit of truth upon you to find discernment. And I hope you have a pleasant day. This is White Raptor News Ministries. Peace.